This tutorial will show you how to create the Customer Details data template and then use it as a linked data template from the Customer Picker data template. The Customer Details template is one of the templates installed when you have chosen to install the demo data. It uses the Northwind database, which will also have been installed. This tutorial will also introduce the ability to use data from more than one source when creating a data template. If you have installed the demo data, then a database user called Pigeon will have been created with a password of Pigeon. Otherwise, you will need a valid username and password to access the Northwind database. Let's get started. Click the Template button on the home screen to create a new data template. Enter Customer Details drill down for the name field. This should be as descriptive as possible and is the title shown on the home screen list of data templates. Enter Customer in the caption field. This is the name of the data template which will be displayed on mobile clients. Select Bluebird for the style. This provides a theme for the mobile client to use when displaying data for this data template. We don't want mobile users to use this data template on its own. It will be displayed when a user wants to see details about a customer when using the Customer Picker data template. Uncheck the visible field. Click the Save button on the toolbar. Now we need to create a query which will return the data we want. Since we are connecting to Microsoft SQL Server, we can use the wizard to make connecting easier. Ensure that the connection type is set to only DB and change the database to MS SQL Server. A wizard button will now appear at the end of the toolbar. Click the wizard button. This pops up the SQL Server connection wizard. The first field to be completed is the server name. Click the refresh button to the right of the available servers field. This will then search for available SQL servers. After a few moments, one or more SQL servers should be listed. Click on the one you wish to connect to. For the Northwind database, this will usually be named using your machine name followed by \SQL Express. Now enter your username for the database followed by your password. Click the refresh button to the right of the database field to obtain a list of databases on the selected server. If your username or password is incorrect, you will see an error message displayed. Select the Northwind database. Now click the Test button to verify that Pigeon can connect to the database. If all went well, you will see success displayed in the message area. Now click the OK button to close the connection wizard and continue. Fill in the caption field with Customer and then click the Save button in the toolbar. Now we want to specify what data is required. To do this, we will use the Visual Query Designer, so click the Design button in the toolbar. The Query Designer should now show a list of database tables on the left and show an empty canvas area in the centre. Drag the table customers from the table list onto the canvas. Now we need to select some fields, or columns as they are more correctly called, which we would like to see in our results. Select the Customer ID field in the Customers table by ticking the checkbox alongside it. You will see that the field is added to the grid in the lower part of the designer. Now select the remaining fields we need: company name, contact name, contact title, address, city, postal code, country, phone. Now we need to provide a criterion, since we only want to select one customer, and that will be based on the customer ID. Although our mobile users will not know what a customer ID is, we will use this to link from the Customer Picker data template in the next tutorial. In the grid area of the designer, on the row for Customers Customer ID, enter equals ? in the column called Criteria. The question mark is what is called a placeholder and is used to identify that a criterion is required here. In different scenarios, we could use different operators such as less than, greater than, and so on. Click the Save button in the toolbar. We now have a working query which is also visible to a mobile client. Normally you could see what it will look like by clicking the Test button in the toolbar. However, because we have included criteria in our query, we need to provide a test value for it. Click the Criteria button in the toolbar. This screen is similar to the Edit Columns screen. The list of criteria is on the left, and the fields to edit for the selected criterion are on the right. Ensure Customer's Customer ID is selected, and then change the caption to Customer ID. Enter a value of ALFKI in the field Test Value. This is a valid customer ID. Click Save and then Back in the toolbar. There are a few things we need to fix before the data template becomes presentable. The first determines how Data Pigeon handles the data returned by the query. The View Type field can be set to either Detail View or List View. A Detail View only ever shows one record, so even if your query returns 100 records, only the first will be displayed. A List View, on the other hand, shows as many records as are returned by the query. In this case, we want to show a single record, so the default view type of Detail View is correct. To see how this is shaping up, click the Save button in the toolbar and then click the Test button. The test results pop-up window shows what the data template will look like on a mobile client. It is clear that the description on the fields leaves something to be desired. We need to change them to something more appropriate. Also, it would be nice if we could tap on an address to see it on a map, tap on a phone number to call it, or tap a website address to see the web page. Close the test results window and then click the Columns button in the toolbar. This screen presents the list of columns on the left and the details for the currently selected column on the right. When making changes, don't forget to click the Save button before changing to a different column. The first column in the list should be Customer's Customer ID. Change the caption to Customer ID and then click Save. Now select the Customer's Company Name column on the left. Change the caption to Name and then click Save. Change the caption for column Customer's Contact Name to Contact. We don't really want to see the customer's contact title column, so uncheck the visible box. Select the column Customer's Address and change the caption to Address. It is possible that the address may take up more than one line, so tick the field Multi-line to let Data Pigeon know that you are happy for the field to expand over more than one line. We also want to be able to tap on the address field and show it on a map. To do this, we need to identify what part of an address this particular column represents. In the Field Info field, select Address 1, since this is the general part of the address. Select the column Customer's City and change the caption to City. This is also part of an address, so set the field Info field to Town. Change the caption for column Customer's Postal Code to Postcode. And set the field Info to Postcode Zip. Change the caption for column Customer's Country to Country. And set the field Info to Country. Change the caption for column Customer's Phone to Phone. We would like a mobile user to be able to simply tap this number to call the customer, so set the field Info to Phone number. To see the results of the changes we have made, click the Back button on the toolbar and then click the Test button. This is now looking quite presentable. Close the test window. We are going to add an additional page to display a list of orders for this customer. In this case, the order data is coming from the same database. However, since it has its own query, the data could be loaded from a completely different source, so long as we have a unique field to link the two sources. Click the Columns button on the toolbar. We will now add a new column. This column is a special type of column called a collection. Click the Add button on the toolbar. This creates a new column with a column type of collection and some default values. Change the caption to Orders and click the Save button. Notice the button Create Query alongside the column type field. This allows us to create the query which will provide the data for these collection columns. Click the Create Query button. We will now create a query to load orders for a given customer ID. Ensure that connection type is set to OLEDB and change database to MS SQL Server. Click the Wizard button which has appeared in the toolbar. This pops up the SQL Server connection wizard. Click the Server Refresh button to the right of the available servers. This will then search for available SQL servers. After a few moments, one or more SQL servers should be listed. Click on the one you wish to connect to. For the Northwind database, this will usually be named using your machine name followed by /SQL Express. Now enter your username for the database followed by your password. Click the Refresh button to the right of the database field to obtain a list of databases on the selected server. If your username or password is incorrect, you will see an error message displayed. Select the Northwind database. Now click the Test button to verify that Data Pigeon can connect to the database. If all went well, you will see Success displayed in the message area. Now click the OK button to close the connection wizard and continue. On the query page, change the caption to Orders, and since we are expecting to see multiple orders, change View Type to List View. Click the Save button. Now we will design the query using the Visual Query Designer. Click the Design button in the toolbar. We will introduce sorting and expressions whilst building this query. An expression is used in place of a column when we wish to derive something from other values in the database. A simple expression might be something like product quantity times product price in order to get the total value for an order line. Drag the table orders onto the canvas. Drag order details, products and employees onto the canvas. Notice that the Query Designer automatically adds the joins required. select the column Orders Customer ID and add equals ? To the criteria column in the grid. This is to provide a criteria which selects orders for just one customer. Now select the column Orders Order ID. Since the order ID is sequential, we could use this to sort the orders based on the sequence they were entered. In the grid, for the Orders Order ID column, select ASC in the Sort Type column. This sorts the results in ascending order. The next column will be an expression which provides us with an employee's full name. The expression is written as employee's first name plus space plus employee's last name. Type this expression in the next available line in the grid in the column Expression. In the next column, Alias, enter a name for the expression as employees _ name. Now select the columns Orders Order Date, Products Product Name, Order Details Quantity, and Order Details Unit Price. The next column will be another expression to provide the total value of the order detail line. The expression is written as Order Details Quantity times Order Details Unit Price. Notice we have used square brackets around the table name Order Details. You will see that the Query Designer has automatically added these where we have selected other columns from this table. They are needed because the table name contains a space. This is not generally recommended in database table or column names, but is allowed in some products so long as the name is surrounded by delimiters. In this case, square brackets. Type this expression in the next available line in the grid in the column Expression. In the next column, Alias, enter a name for the expression as Order _ Details _ Line _ Total. Click the Save button in the toolbar. To allow the query to be tested, we need a test value for the criteria. So click the Criteria button in the toolbar and enter ALFKI for the field Test Value. We also need to tell Data Pigeon which column from the parent query will provide the value for this criteria. In the field Source column, select Customers _ Customer ID, since it is the customer ID we will be needing. Click Save and then back. Because this is a nested query, we cannot show the simulator view, so the Test button shows the first record retrieved by the query. Click the Columns button in the toolbar and edit the column captions. Untick the visible field for the column Orders _ Customer ID. For Orders _ Order ID, change the caption to Order Number. For Employees _ Name, change the caption to Employee. For orders_order date, change the caption to order date. We can also set a format for the date. In this case, we'll use a specific UK format. So enter DD/MM/YYYY in the display format field. For product's product name, change the caption to product. For order_details_quantity, change the caption to quantity. For order_details_unit price, change the caption to unit price. We can also set a format to show this as a currency value. Use C to use the locale on the mobile client, or ###0 stop 00 to force the display in GBP. Enter the value into the field display format. For order_details_line_ total, change the caption to total. Since this column is an expression, change the column type to decimal so that Data Pigeon can correctly apply any formatting. If you would like to display this with currency formatting, enter a suitable format value in the field Display Format. Click the back button in the toolbar and then test the query again. It should now look much better with the right captions and with the values being formatted correctly. Finally, we can go back to the original or parent query to see what the finished data template will look like. Navigate back to the parent query by clicking the back button twice. Now click the test button and you should see 2 pages in the simulator, the second page being a list of orders for the customer. The final tutorial will provide a way to search for customers, show a list of matching customers, and then link to this data template to see the results. This completes the tutorial to create the customer details data template.